5 shoulder training mistakes coming right up. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over my 5 shoulder training mistakes. Let's get into it. That looks painful. This looks extremely painful, and I see it all the time. First training mistake is the shoulder flare. Really simple, really quick. Lower the weight, Mace. My bad. You all right?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg.
Jesus. Instead of thinking you have to be all the way the heck out here, you literally can just be on like a 45-ish degree angle like this. And you're still gonna work your anterior head of your delt and your lateral head of your delt. It's a great exercise for the entire delt. But it's not that good when you extremely flare your elbows. So do yourself a favor, make sure your chest stays up, let your arms tuck in a bit, and then stack the joints from here. And then when you're doing a press, it's way more comfortable, you're under control, and you have a healthy line of pull or line of force this entire range of motion. So don't over flare, pull your arms a bit, chest up, and then you're good. All right, mistake number 2, it's not stacking the joints, especially when we're in machines, because the machine is gonna go exactly where it's supposed to go. Take a break, Mace. This machine was made exactly how it was intended to be made to make sure that you're hitting your shoulders. If Mason's elbows are not stacked and they're behind the weight and he's pushing the weight, he's pushing into the line of pull in the wrong direction, which is putting more stress on the front of his arms and causing a lot more stress in his entire shoulder to begin with. Fist, wrist, and elbows stacked. So when he starts to push, his elbow stays under the weight where the line of pull is going the entire time. So that's why we want to stack the joints. Common mistake number 3, pulling with your hands or your wrists or whatever you're pulling with. You're just not pulling with your shoulder. Now, most of the time we see people doing lateral raises or any accessory movements and their fists and the wrists are bent out of shape. It's probably because they're using too much weight to begin with. But it's also the bigger point of they're not understanding where the pull is coming from. The pull is coming from the shoulders. It's not coming from your wrist. So what we want to do is we want to think about what's pulling from the shoulder. The shoulder muscles are pulling this bone. But too many times that we think about pulling from here just because we're holding something, and that's what's the first thing that we feel when we're pulling. And that's where we get the bent fists pulling from here, then the extremely clenched forearm, and then the tight tricep, bicep, and then he's not even holding weight. Either way, it looks terrible. So what we want to do is we want to think about pulling from the elbow. Pretend there's like paint cans strapped here on your arm, and you're pulling this with this. And then we're extending this at the very end, keeping it on the same plane. It's almost like stacking the joints when we're here. We want to make sure we're flat across here. We don't want it to be like this. We don't want it to be like this. We don't want it to be like this, or this, or this, or all of this. We just need it straight. Straight from here, a little bit of a tense in the arm, pulling the weight out to your side from here, and that's where we're getting the pull. We're getting everything pulling from the shoulder, cueing from our elbow, and then making sure everything stays on the same plane. So a couple things you need to do: reduce the weight so you can actually feel the lift. Sweet shrugs, bro. This is a hybrid exercise? Shrug lats, shlats, schlateral raises, struggle ladies. Common mistake number 4 is using your traps for everything. Anyway, so the common mistake is very simple to execute and not do ever again. Wait a minute, what? Common mistake number 4 is using traps for absolutely everything, and it makes complete sense. Why? Well, because the traps are gonna help with shoulder elevation. They're gonna pull your shoulders up. And it makes complete sense why we would call for those for help pulling things up. The problem with that is that it's gonna shorten your range of motion to take most of the tension, and you're not gonna get the most you can out of your shoulder if that's what we're trying to do. Now, I know traps are an actual muscle that needs to be trained, but when we're doing lateral raises, shoulder press, rear delt flies, cable flies, whatever we're doing, we don't need to bring so much of the trap in. So what we want to do is we want to keep our shoulders back and away from your ears. And to maintain keeping your shoulders depressed, just think about trying to keep your chest up the entire time. So let your chest relax. I'm gonna put my hand over Mason's chest. Mason, try and touch my hand with your chest. See what happens? It naturally depresses his shoulders. So what we want to do is we want to maintain this posture the entire time while you're doing the lateral raise. Another cool cue you can think about is pretend there's a hook on your chest and you're being hung around by the hook on your chest. It doesn't hurt at all. I saw it. I think I saw it on Saw or something. Gave me the cue, but I'm not talking torture thing. Just keep your chest up. What the? Common mistake number 5, using too much weight. I find that everybody uses too much weight regardless. And I get it. Some people want to load up the bar when they're doing bench. Some people want to, load up the T-bar row doing some rows or just whatever. I get it. Squatting, deadlifting. It doesn't make any sense for me when it comes to shoulders because it's a very, I'd say delicate, but you're using your shoulder on so many different exercises that loading your shoulders here is just gonna eventually have you injured. Number 1. 2, you're not feeling any weight. You just saw Mason trying to do those shrugs. I don't think he was moving anything. He's moving his neck. Look like a chicken. Lower the weight so you can feel the actual exercise and just even movements like shrugs. Take off the weight. Take off the weight and even just doing shrugs with a little bit of a lighter weight will give you that much more control and muscle-mind connection to actually feel the lift when you're doing the lift, moving through its full range of motion. All the way up and stretching all the way down and then pulling all the way up and then all the way down. Now this isn't my favorite chap exercise to do, but for just the sake of making a point, lower the weight so you can feel the reps, so you can feel the muscles, so you can actually get a good pump from your exercise rather than just straining your entire body trying to lift something up. That is it for today's video, guys. I say guys all the time. Anyway, guys, that is it for today's video.
No, guys.
Okay, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you use any of those cues or have made any of those mistakes, let us know in the comment section below. Until next time, you guys know exactly how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. And in the meantime, keep dream chasing.